What it do?
It's a My Guys podcast.
What's up, my guy?
What's the deal?
Hey.
Let's go.
What it do, what it was. Welcome back. Y'all tuned in to the My Guys podcast. You live in the Thunderdome, back into one of our residential places.
You already know what it is.
It's your boy PJ P-Wave Alfred with my dog.
Boy Jay Willie, too silly. Y'all know who it is, man. Welcome back to another episode, man. We are into week 4, or through week 4. Into week 5. And we back.
Indeed. Here on the My Guys podcast, basically right now we in football season, so we're giving y'all our football takes about fantasy football, about real life football, what's going on with us daily and weekly. But like I said, mainly, man, we here to talk about that football, nothing else.
You already know.
How you been, bro? How was your week?
My week's been amazing, as usual. You know, it's always good to be alive, family good, everybody healthy and happy.
I like it.
How about you?
Same, family vibes, doing our thing. I did go to a junior high football game this week. My daughter had a little band concert.
You were telling me about that.
And it was fun, man. They had a little dog. Shout out number 4 for the Lomax Lobos. That boy had like 3 or 4 tutties, bro.
Shout out number 4, man.
I do not remember your name, but you definitely did your thing, young fella.
Yes, sir.
So,
impressed.
Look at that. But as you stated, we recently finished up the week 4 in the NFL. So in this new 2-part series that we told y'all about last week, part 1, we're going to get into our recap of week 4. Part 2, we're going to get into the preview of week 5. This week, we got a little bit of a twist since we're a quarter way through the season.
Yeah.
Kind of going to see where we're gauging certain players. Are you panicking? Or you need to trade away? Let's wait and see, or we good? Ain't worried about nothing. You know
valid
what I mean?
arguments, because we're at that part of the season again. Like, do you hit the panic button and make that trade? Do you hit that waiver wire and start dropping people?
Identities have been formed. Have been formed.
Crazy.
I guess without further ado, I think it's time for the. Y'all know what it is. It's the players that unfortunately let us down this year. Why you gotta do me like that? They did not come through in the clutch. They let you down. They didn't even get you 10 fantasy points, man. Tough.
Just the dreaded goose egg from a few players. Injuries. Oh my gosh. This is just part of it. It's part of the season. It's part of
injuries have been tough this year.
The journey of a fantasy footballer.
1,000%. You want to get the list
popping? Diamonds. All right. Well, let's get to it. I mean, let's start off. We got Nico Collins, Chubb, Tony Pollard, of course. We got a couple repeat offenders in here. Trey McBride, Ted McMillan.
And Trey wasn't terrible. Like we talked about this.
What did he get, like 9 or 10?
Yeah, but we talked about this in the pre-show. I think we need to drop our barometer, so to speak, for the tight end of why you do me like that. I think we need to do 6 points or lower. So maybe moving forward, because the tight end market is just
shorten, basically handicap them a little bit.
We're grading on a curve. You remember back in school, they grading on a curve.
Damn, tight ends.
And the grade was low. The grade was low. So
putting y'all on the curve.
Let's say moving forward 6 points or lower, you get you on.
We'll do that.
But I'm sorry to interrupt. As you were.
Keep it going. Ted McMillan, Trey Benson, Chris Olave, Ladd McConkey, who I told y'all we'll get to that later. Calvin Ridley, Malik Neighbors injured, Jaylen Warren injured,
one time,
late scratch. Malik Neighbors, man.
We're gonna pull one out for Malik Neighbors. And
Caddy's crew captain, man. Damn.
That was sad, bro.
Right at the beginning of the Jackson Dart era.
Indeed. Like, they didn't even get the 3-headed monster to finish one game.
For real,
You also mentioned the Jaylen Warren one. He makes the list, but it's not is it our fault that we didn't get it in time because it was a London game?
Yeah,
so it had to be early start. So if you weren't paying attention, you might have had Jaylen Warren in your lineup. So that's really the only reason he made this
honestly,
list.
I mean, unless you're a diehard, you probably wasn't up there early on a Sunday morning.
Because the notification,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, even imagine if you're on the West Coast, like that's 6 o'clock start time or something like that. So that's ridiculous.
For real.
My bad. I'm sorry.
But then, Gainwell did his thing. But What was I at?
You were just at Jalen Warren.
David Montgomery, right after a big week. Keenan Allen. Jawan Johnson, who's kind of been stinking it a little bit, but again.
But it's just the Saints. It's a rough environment.
Alvin Kamara.
Right
behind them.
Another repeat offender, Devonta Smith, Chuba Hubbard, Jordan Mason cooled down. A.J. Brown, who can't seem to get himself off this list.
Trade talks.
Yeah.
Recently.
I did put Chris Godwin in here with an asterisk. Not only because first game back, but regardless, you were probably in people's lineups and you didn't produce. So unfortunately, you still get hit with along with another repeat offender, BTJ, who just can't seem to figure it out. Him and Travis Hunter in that whole passing game situation in Jacksonville is terrifying. DJ Moore, Kyron Williams, Jamar Chase again, Chase Brown again, T. Higgins again. Honestly, the Bengals offense right now, it's literally, I think Jamar Chase might be the only person that's startable, and that's even with the risk. But that's just because of the draft capital. You probably don't have any other options.
It's the pure athleticism.
He's gonna break one.
He's a player that can just break one.
And you don't want to be the guy who had Jamar Chase on your bench the week he scored 27 points.
But I mean, a lot of these players are like that. I mean, AJ Brown. I mean, even Alvin Kamara.
He did apologize for his tweet. Did you see that? He did come out and actually say, I was out of line, man, my bad. I was in my feelings.
I mean, AJ Brown's been doing this. He did this last year.
I said he did the same thing last year.
Everybody knows how he feels. Yeah. Let it be known.
He's just trying to let these coaches know, give me that damn peel.
It's kind of a receiver diva type thing, too,
But, I mean, the Eagles will not go back to another Super Bowl without AJ Brown, would you say? Without his help? As it sits now?
I wonder if they feel that way. I wonder if they think they can do it without him.
I mean, I just don't know if it's sustainable.
And the Eagles are a team who I think is very, very strategic in their moves because they have been stacking draft picks. They've been doing this strategy to where they've been getting a lot of draft picks.
Are you alluding to a possible A.J. Brown trade?
I'm just saying the Eagles
wouldn't surprise you.
They're very. I mean,
Howie Roseman is the P wave of the NFL. I mean, he makes trades better than anybody else. So I mean,
if they gonna get a trade, it's gonna be a damn good trade.
I can dig that. I can respect that.
But yeah.
But a lot of these players, like I said, honestly, guys, we understand. We are both in the same predicament that y'all are in. We are having these same start decisions. It's not like you can. Most people can't afford to put BTJ, to put Jamar Chase, to put an AJ Brown on the bench. Because the players that are behind them. Now, I will say,
especially with bye weeks coming up.
Bye weeks are coming up.
Starting this week, actually.
Get out of my head. Yes. Literally, that's exactly what I was about to say. With bye weeks starting this week, you're going to be in a position where you might just have to take the risk and bet on the talent and hope that it pays off. But I'm not going to fault anybody if you want to start Cortland Sutton over A.J. Brown, or Quentin Johnson. Bro, I saw something earlier. Quentin Johnson or Jamar Chase.
I was talking about Quentin. I would say Quentin Johnson right now.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But if somebody offered me, because I'm a Jamar Chase owner in multiple leagues, Quentin Johnson, I have to reject the trade.
I don't know about trading them. I'm saying for just starting this.
Yeah, I know. But just if you think about the greater landscape of what the potential productivity of Quentin Johnson is going to be rest of season versus Jamar Chase.
Which you probably, at this point, you believe it's higher.
It's Quentin Johnson. I would think so, too. He's in a better offense, better quarterback, better situation.
More touchdowns. I mean, I don't know, bro, because the Chargers, I mean, I know they lost to the Giants, but their O-line went from being one of the best to now being one of the worst.
They did just lose Joe Alt as well. The left tackle.
Their O-line is one of the worst this year. All right. But we're looking forward. So, I don't know. Chargers starting to look a little shaky.
I can
the bow's not looking as pristine as before. So,
but it is early yet. But the only reason, like I said, it's the quarter of the way through the season. So teams are starting to get that identity. So as we recap, obviously we got the rapid recap coming up later. But when we get into the prediction episode for part 2, we'll have a lot to say about the risk factor of certain players and things like that moving forward.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Well, without further ado, let's get to the number 1 segment in the United States of America. Who gets that award this week for me, my dog? Who is it?
Oh, man.
Who you got?
There is no other than... There's no other smooth Nah, I was about to say swoop of the week.
I mean, swoop of the week. I mean, he's definitely
Leroy Jenkins. And no other Leroy Jenkins than Adonai Mitchell.
That's tough. And why is Adonai Mitchell getting Leroy Jenkins of the week?
It's almost like it's almost like he heard of the Leroy Jenkins Award and said, "I'm about to win that mug." Bro, fumbled a touchdown. And like from 1 yard outside, just lost the ball
after making a spectacular catch and move.
After making a spectacular catch and move, it was a great play.
Trying to shine. So let's be real. He put the move on old buddy and was going to shine in the end zone with something like this. He was going to shine.
I was going to try to make a little case for him to say he was just trying to reach, just to get the touchdown a little quicker.
I tell you
what, a quicker reach.
If I'm that cornerback, when I looked up, I was like, "That's what you get." But not only did he do that,
that's funny.
He also neglected a 53-yard Jonathan Taylor rushing touchdown with a bold head holding penalty.
Cost the team 12 points.
Exactly. So, and ultimately,
basically, they lost less than that, right?
You could arguably say they lost the game behind those two plays because that is a huge swing.
I mean, that's not something you say to your teammate, but it's something you definitely thinking and feeling.
Big facts. Now, I will say, until that, I was going to actually give, and I will still shout out an honorable mention for the and this might be the first and only time this may happen, but I am giving an honorable mention Leroy Jenkins Award to MetLife Stadium. What? A stadium? Yeah. Sounds weird, right? Yeah. But let's just go back and give you a little bit of history on MetLife Stadium since 2020. Nick Bosa, ACL tear. Solomon Thomas, ACL tear. Raheem Mostert, MCL tear. Sterling Shepard, Achilles and an ACL tear. Wan'Dale Robinson, ACL. Blake Martinez, Achilles. Julius Peppers, ACL. Kyle Fuller, ACL. Aaron Rodgers, Achilles. Jalen Phillips, Achilles. Malik Neighbors, ACL. Do something about y'all goddamn field. This makes no sense to have this many injuries of the same kind in a professional stadium. Clearly, there's something wrong with the field. New York. Do better. That's all I'm saying. Jesus.
Player health is important.
Yeah, y'all always talk about player safety. You always talk about player safety.
Same issue.
All the time.
It's quite concerning.
That's all I'm saying. Well,
quite concerning.
It's almost time to get into the rapid recap.
Almost that time?
For week 4.
Is it that time?
It is that time.
It is that time. Let's get
so while we get a second to get loaded up, because we will get it started off with the Thursday night game.
Week 4, baby.
Seahawks
at Cardinals.
Seahawks at Cardinals. And give me 1 second. Of course, this it wouldn't be a live show if my computer didn't decide to go wicked, wow. Well, you want to get it started?
I'll get it started on that game. So Seahawks. I believe we were both on the Seahawks this game.
Indeed. That's what I'm trying to get pulled up with my computer.
Whoa. So Seahawks went in to Arizona and took care of business. They found a way to win like I thought they would. Again, it's 23-20. Kyler Murray had a chance to win it at the end, but they couldn't get it done.
Fumbled the bag. We were both on Seattle.
Seahawks get the dub in the division game. On to the next.
Where we had the Minnesota Vikings and the Steelers play across the pond in Ireland, lad. And the Steelers headed down. They held it down. It was like a home game. It was so many Steelers fans out there.
For real.
24-21. Carson Wentz, I'm not going to say he was better than J.J. McCartney, but he honestly wasn't too much worse. The other thing, he did move the ball downfield better. So you got to be optimistic about that if you are a Vikings owner. Jettas, Hawkinson, or Addison. Guy next to me has 2 of them. Still a little bit concerning. We mentioned the Warren news earlier about him sitting, but Gainwell came in and held his thing down. On to the next
one. We got the Commanders going down to Atlanta to play them Falcons. Falcons pretty much handled this game. They bounced back pretty strongly, played very well, I thought. Bijan Robinson played well. Drake London had a big game finally.
Even the Pitts thing. Kyle Pitts
had a big game. Michael Penix with a nice bounce back, especially after looking terrible the week before. Commanders kept it pretty interesting at the end. They made it close, but Falcons could come away with the win 34-27. On to the next.
Was ironically started off to be one of the more surprising games of the day, where the Saints were fighting very competitively against the Bills, but ultimately they fall 31-19. Josh Allen doing MVP things. But honestly, the biggest star of the season for me for the Bills is James Cook. Nobody thought he would hold up with the touchdown production that he got last year, but he's clearly dominating and still figuring out a way to break off big runs, do his thing. Saints players, the only one I might really start is Kamara, and that's begrudgingly if I have to.
Olave,
especially with bye weeks, and maybe Juwan Johnson, but just like you said, he hasn't been performing as of late. So keep an eye on that.
Early
Dr. Kincaid,
fall off a
do love that still. And still waiting for a wide receiver one to emerge. On to the next.
On to the next. We got the Browns heading on down to Detroit to play the Lions. Lions dismantled them 34-10. Jahmyr Gibbs did his thing. David Montgomery kind of pulled a dub. We talked about him a little earlier.
Indeed.
Lions look like one of the best teams in the NFL again. After a slow start to the season, losing to the Packers, they have come back to look like the old Lions.
Indeed.
No Ben Johnson issues.
Offense is
rolling. On to the next.
On to the next. Well, we had the hometown Houston Texans hold it down where they goose-egged and blanked the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward with arguably the comment of the year, basically coming out and saying, we are ass right now. And he did it in a respectful way, I will say, if that makes any sense. But he took accountability for the team struggles when they're just not playing good. The one bright spot in this game is that the Texans O-line still sucks. So fire up Woody Marks, waiver wire ad of the week. We talked about him earlier. Nico Collins is somebody you're still firing up. You just got to wait for the production. It will come. He is the alpha in this offense. There is no debate about that. On to the next.
Let's keep it rolling on down to New England. Carolina heads on into New England, and New England put that belt to ass real quick. 42-13. Stephon Diggs with the big game. Nice to see that. Drake May continues
baby on the way.
Shine.
Got to do something, get some more money.
Got a baby on the way. Panthers, after a nice game the week before, kind of go back to their old ways. Look lost on offense a little bit, and back to the drawing board for the Panthers. New England, on to the next.
They were who we thought they were. On to the next. And it looks like I was a week too early on this pick, but the Giants upset the Chargers 21-18. Jeremy's golden boy, Justin Herbert, finally looked human for a second. I don't know if it was that D-line.
The O-line is
O-line looked trash. And then, I talked about the Giants D-line earlier. So
Giants D-line is ridiculous.
They really put in work. And I will say this. Brandon Burns. Is it Brandon Burns?
Yes, Brian Burns.
Brian Burns. Best sack celebration in the league. It's not even close. He get to hit the Spider-Man. And then he hit the pose. It's the cleanest sack. We talk about sack celebrations 3 or 4. It's the cleanest sack celebration. With all that being said, we talked about it earlier. Malik Neighbors unfortunately goes down to an ACL. You're going to have to figure out who the next pass catcher is going to be. I'm personally on the Wendell Robinson train, so we'll see how that works long term. There's a lot of people on Slayton and Hyatt. I actually like Cam Scatterbo to probably take the biggest leap from the Malik Neighbors injury because he gets involved in the passing game. On the flip side, you're firing up every Charger except for Herbert, depending on if you have a better matchup. All 3 wide receivers. Conky, iffier now. Iffy. Omarion, sure. Fire him up. On to the next.
On to the next. We got the game, one of the games of the week. 2 3-0 teams. Eagles head on into Tampa Bay to take care of business. They come out with the dub, 31-25. This game was exciting. Big defensive play early for the Eagles to take them up early. Buccaneers fight and crawl to get back into this game. Had an opportunity late, didn't make it happen. Baker Mayfield finally doesn't get the fourth quarter comeback, and Buccaneers go down.
Indeed.
On to the next.
One thing I will say to monitor, we just found out earlier today that the Bucky Irving injury, so that's going to be something to monitor, but we'll probably touch on that in the prediction episode. But I'm on the Los Angeles Rams, hold it down at the home field where they defended off against the Colts due to Leroy Jenkins' performance by the aforementioned player that was alluded to earlier, cost them the game. But once again, the Rams' passing offense is firing on all cylinders. Kyron did have a bad game this week, but it didn't matter because Matthew Stafford was slinging the rock all over. Puka Nacua has to start being talked about in that Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase conversation. He's dominant. You said it all before. He's quarterback proof.
Top five.
Top five,
sure.
without a doubt.
Top 3 right now.
Yeah. You still firing up JT on the other side, Tyler Warren, Daniel Jones based on matchup. And I actually do like Pittman as a consistent wide receiver 2 or 3.
Okay.
On to the next.
On to the next. We got Jacksonville heading all the way to the West Coast to play San Francisco 49ers. Come out with I would say a little bit of an upset.
A little bit.
Win 26-21 over the 49ers. This game kind of was back and forth. And then the Jaguars had a bunch of penalties, I feel like, in this one.
And the Jags, they always got penalties.
But somehow they found a way to get the lead here. 49ers are banged up right now. Juwan Jennings out. Ricky Pearsall's out. Brock Purdy's going to be out this week. I don't know. What do you think?
It's going to be a tough bounce back. I mean, it's going to be the Christian McCaffrey show. Hopefully he doesn't break. That's the only thing.
Anyways, Jaguars up to 3-1. Looking tougher and tougher for the Texans in this division right now with the way the Colts and Jags are looking.
Yeah.
On to the next.
Was supposed to be the game of the day, but ended up turning into a blowout. The Chiefs dominate 37-20 over the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson got hurt in this game, did not finish the game. The game was out of hand early. Honestly, the score doesn't reflect the dominance that the Chiefs have. Xavier Worthy returned in a big way, was involved early and often. It helped stretch the field for this team. Yeah. Mahomes is back. Xavier Worthy, you're firing up. The only thing you really don't want to do with the Chiefs offense is the running game. They can't figure out how to get the running game going.
Travis had a decent game. He had a touchdown.
Yeah, but as far as just yards and consistently, it's Patrick Mahomes scrambling, ironically, is what's keeping their drives alive.
That's what's making him such a quarterback fantasy value this year.
Correct.
And I did allude to that earlier as well.
Big facts. Derrick Henry, down week. Another down week for Zay Flowers. That could be Lamar based. Same thing with Mark Andrews. No quarterback. Cooper Rush. That's going to be rough. Tough sled.
Ravens offense about to look a little different.
It's going to be a little different. On to the next.
On to the next. We got the Chicago Bears heading into Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Huge game for Ashton Jeanty owners. Finally got that big game from him. 3 touchdowns. Wasn't enough for them to get the dub. Chicago Bears find a way to win here. Another Odunze touchdown.
Clearly,
DJ Moore is shaky for sure. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, Bears are 2-2 right now.
In fact, I will say on the Rome touchdown, he could have threw it to DJ or Rome on that particular play. They both was open like running.
He's just chose
in post, and he just.
And I'm noticing a trend there. He's choosing Rome, and that's really what matters. Who's the quarterback target?
Facts. Who's your favorite? Who do you trust?
On to the next.
And I guess this ultimately turned out to be the game of the week, even though it didn't finish the way most people wanted. But the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers finished in a tie, 40-40. No one likes a tie. That's never fun. But the Packers defense just disappeared. I don't know if the Cowboys were more amped up because Micah returned and they didn't want to give it up. But
Did Micah even play?
Huh? Yeah, he played. Okay. They even credited him with one BS sack at the end.
I do remember
that was really trash. But no CeeDee Lamb, no problem for Dak. Pickens went crazy in this game. Dak found a way to move the ball. Javonte is still very prevalent in the offense. On the flip side of that, Josh Jacobs is an absolute demon. He's super dominant. He can't be stopped. The only reliable pass catcher though right now is Tucker Kraft for the Packers. So they got to get something I think figured out with the pass game. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Dobbs did good, but I just don't know if I'm a trust the long-term consistency.
But I'm sorry, if you watch the game, and I did watch a bit of it.
You think you can see him better because of that Guardian cap?
I don't know. I see a couple more people are starting to get it.
So
but I'm noticing that he's getting a lot of red zone targets.
Oh.
He's definitely getting them fade balls, and he keeps catching them, so they're going to keep throwing them.
I mean, why would you stop? On to the next. First of the Monday Nighters.
On to the next. We had a Monday night doubleheader. New York Jets at Dolphins. I think I was on the Dolphins here. I think you were on the Jets.
I will double check.
Got a big run from Justin Fields. Another rushing touchdown. He's finally back healthy.
We were both on the Jets.
We were both on the Jets.
We were both on
the Jets. I picked the Dolphins in my head, I guess.
Or in a pick'em league you in somewhere probably too.
But I mean, the big news from this game is Tyreek Hill is out for the season. His injury was pretty gruesome.
And they showed it, which was crazy. They're supposed to like not show them that often. They showed it. I was like, did y'all watch that? That was crazy.
That boy's foot was turned that way.
Not supposed to do that.
So Dolphins get the dub still. I mean,
the return of Darren Waller.
2 touchdowns.
Indeed.
Let's go. On to the next.
And the final game of the week where the Denver Broncos put a shellacking on the Cincinnati Bengals because they don't have an offensive line at all. And it's not all Jake Browning's fault, honestly. But Bo Nix looked great in this game. The running game for the Broncos looked great. But I will say that is a big primary factor. But going up against the Cincinnati Bengals defense, where every running back will look great because they don't know how to tackle. R.J. Harvey looked good in this game. Cortland Sutton did his thing. The one thing that I didn't see, who I expected to step up a little bit more, was Evan Ingram, and he was almost non-existent. So that Joker role, Sean Payton was talking about it, like full of shit.
Evan Ingram has been a huge bust.
Yeah, but that brings it to Ian in regards to the rapid recap.
It is.
Any crazy outliers, like one particular game, like the tie stood out to me super crazy, but
yeah.
Anything particular from this past weekend that you're like, ooh?
What?
No, I'm saying that you're like, ooh.
No, that kind of caught my attention. I mean, Woody Marks for sure.
Ooh.
Caught my eye for sure. He looked like the best back.
Past the eyeball test. That's
the eyeball test.
Yeah. Facts.
Other than that, good to see Genty get some action. George Pickens, like we were talking about earlier, he looked like a real number one receiver.
The Genty thing. Can I ask you a quick question, real quick?
What's that?
Who do you think finishes with more better stats, Genty or Hampton, as of right now? Because Hampton's had 2 good weeks. Genty, 1. But you can see he's figuring out something.
They're both in very similar situations.
Correct.
Right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Their O lines are not that great right now.
Rest of the season.
Otherwise, I mean, normally Hampton would have a much better O line, but they're all injured, which is the issue. So looking forward, I mean, I think it can be very close. I think Genty is the better prospect for sure.
I mean, picked higher
talent wise.
But I get that. But if I told they're both on the waiver wire and you got number 1 waiver priority,
I'd probably go Genty.
Go Genty?
Yeah,
I think
especially
after
Hampton. This week.
I think I would go Hampton. Just because I like the weapons around him better. But you can make the opposite argument for Genty. Like, he's the only weapon. So
that is true.
I'm just curious. I'm sorry.
But yeah, it was a good question.
All right.
But I definitely think I would still go Genty for now for the rest of the season outlook.
Rest of the season outlook?
Yeah.
I can dig that.
I would rank him like maybe 1 or 2 higher than him.
Okay.
Hampton.
No, I'm just curious. After. Yeah, I was just curious on where. I don't know why the word barometer. I've been like to say it.
Barometer.
Just seeing where your barometer was at, bro. You know. Well, without further ado, we talked about the losers. We talked about the people who let us down. We talked about Leroy Jenkins, but it wouldn't be to my guys that we didn't talk about the people that
broke you off real bad.
Broke them off real bad. And these players did their thing. I'll get it popping. You mentioned at the beginning of the show. Drake London, Omarion Hampton, Kenny Gainwell, Justin Jefferson had a good game. Bucky Irving, the Sun God, Amon-Ra. Xavier Worthy, we alluded to. Dallas Goedert, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ashton Genty, DK went crazy.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnson once again had another dominant week. Ibuka, Kyle Pitts,
consistent.
Etienne, James Cook, Quinshon Jenkins, to name a few.
Puka
went crazy.
MHJ
went crazy
again. Stephon Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Tyler Warren back into action. Josh Allen. Pat Mahomes went insane. Damn near might be the player of the week. 4 tutties. Josh Jacobs, you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You got Dobbs on here. Pickens. Dak looked good. Dak's rest of the season outlook.
Without CeeDee Lamb was crazy too.
Jordan Love went crazy low-key.
Okay.
Bo Nix did some things. J.K. Dobbins, very consistent. Top 5 in the league in rushing, by the way. Cortland Sutton.
J.K. Dobbins is top 5.
And Justin Fields and then Garrett Wilson. Should have had 2 touchdowns, but they got him for the little push-off. Yeah. Them the ones that broke y'all off, man.
Real bad.
Yes, sir.
You can't get mad at it.
So who you gonna give the Himothy of the award the week to, man?
Well, the Himothy Award, which I would have a beautiful, but I'm just gonna switch it up just slightly a little bit, just because I'm just gonna say he's a.
Yeah.
Just to keep people on their toes. But the Himothy Award this week goes to the aforementioned Ashton Jeanty. He dominated. He was the highest scoring player this week in fantasy, depending on your format. But as y'all know from our winners and losers, we go off the Eastside Pro League platform. I believe he finished with 34?
A week winner.
Yeah. So he was a week winner. No doubt about it. He came in, he showed up, he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Especially after he hasn't been doing much for you all season.
Good thing to see. Everybody happy.
For real.
So, the
It'd be almost like Ja'Marr Chase going crazy.
Big winner, Ashton Jeanty for this week.
Let's go.
Before we actually get ready to close this particular Gentster out, we got to give the people a update from the Wave Riders versus the Caddies crew. So without further ado, y'all heard Jeremy said Malik Neighbors was his captain. Malik Neighbors got hurt in the first quarter, y'all. So clearly I dominated this week, right? I killed him. Because he only had 2 people. Well, the answer to that question will be no. I still managed to get bodied because I have Chase Brown and Ja'Marr Chase who can't figure out how to get anything going. I'm catching strays. That boy Caddy's crew dominated 41.4 points over the 21.5 provided by the Wave Riders. Even with our game picks I lost this week, it was a rough week for your boy P-Wave, man. Jeremy had 10 correct wins. I only had 8.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, So look, you win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day. You know what I mean?
I feel you, bro.
So it's cool. I got plenty of time.
It's a long season, so I already know, man. I'm just gonna take my win and I'm gonna keep it moving.
Also, we need to update your Caddy's crew, your replacement player.
Okay.
We need to go ahead and lock that in. Let's go ahead and lock that in before we bring this one to an end.
Okay, so
you had a list of players.
So obviously Malik Neighbors was my first round pick.
Indeed.
My captain.
You have to replace him with a talent of the same caliber.
Yes, I feel like that. Which I don't think you did that. Because you got George Kittle and you went down to Tucker Kraft, who was like a 5th round pick.
True.
But
But it was like remember, mine was more based off the value of the player. That's why I picked Kittle, because he wasn't the top tight end. I like the value. So I did the same thing with the replacement.
Okay, well look, this is what we're gonna do.
Okay, talk to me.
About
to type it in right now.
I've been hyped on 2 players other than Malik Neighbors.
Okay.
Obviously Justin Jefferson and Ja'Marr Chase were the top 2. That was pretty much across the board.
I think I know.
But then my next 3 were a little different, right? My next 3 was, it was CeeDee Lamb with number 3. It was Malik Neighbors at number 4.
Indeed.
I think it was Nico at 5.
I think you had Puka above me.
Or Puka at 5.
I think you had Puka
and
at 5.
then Nico at 6.
Yes. With that being said, I heard 2 possible names that I think you might say. I know who you're gonna say.
I gotta go with my dog, man. We got a whole short about it. And you know what? I might pin that to our TikTok.
Okay.
But it's gonna be Puka Nacua.
I knew it. I've already kind of hit the copy.
Put that boy on the crew. I'm gonna go ahead and make that quick little IR swap. Put that boy Malik Neighbors. He's still on the Caddy's crew, but he, he on me in surgery. So he gotta be.
He will have to make a late season comeback.
We gotta trade him.
Well, that'll do it. That'll wrap this
one up. Come on, Puka.
We gotta make a comeback, boys. We gotta do something. Fix it, guys.
So now look, I got Puka, I got Trey McBride, and Josh Jacobs.
And I have Ja'Marr Chase, Chase Brown, and Tucker Kraft. Look, we told y'all at the beginning, you ride to die with your captain. And I'm gonna thug it out with my boy. Y'all see I'm losing. It's cool. It ain't over yet.
Hey, you seen him arguing with the coach though?
Oh yeah. I've been arguing with his ass too. We'll catch up with y'all later, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Perfect.